Time for another Netflix original. This one is There's Someone Inside Your House, directed by Brice. Now, that's a name that got me really curious about this one because I absolutely adore Creep and Creep 2. I think they're some of the best kind of found footage horror movies that's come out recently. I really do love those movies, and I wanted to see what he'd do with a bigger bit of a budget and moving into a kind of slasher movie. Now, we have a group of kids here at high school as people are starting to be murdered. People who are keeping secrets, who are not letting the truth out, are being brutally killed by a masked person wearing the victim's face. Someone is 3D printing versions of these people's faces and then wearing it to go and kill them. It's an interesting idea, and I love the way the movie opened up. The initial opening kill, which is all down to kind of horror movie tropes, is a really nice setup. We have this guy who goes to his bed, he's got a football game, he wakes up, the house is lying open, his phone has disappeared, and there's something creepy going on. There's pictures of his transgressions plastered all over the house, and then as he closes his front door, you get the wonderful title card of the movie. It's perfectly set up, and I was hooked. I was in and ready to go. This felt like a good slasher in the vein, not as good as Scream, but something that could really batter home that kind of feeling of nostalgia and giving me the sort of slasher tropes that I really wanted.
Worship at the altar of equality and diversity, which means every little snowflake has to be exactly the same and there can be no differences.
Unfortunately, There's Someone in the House doesn't have the steam to keep it going, and particularly in the last third, it really starts to lose a lot of the energy it's built up and starts to become a little bit incomprehensible and taking huge leaps of logic and becomes a little bit contrivance.
What do you want?
Chips? Salt and vinegar?
Fuck off!
I felt a lot of duality about this one because I was with the movie for the longest while. I liked a lot of the characters. I liked the idea of the killer and why they were doing what they were doing. I loved as we moved into sort of bigger set pieces, where it'd be the cornfield at the end or the secret party that we have during this, with lots of people around and the killer still striking, because normally in these kind of movies it's an isolated location, it's one person versus the killer and you know the outcome. But there's two scenes in this where there are lots of people around and the killer is mingling in amongst them, unbeknownst to most of the people there, and a kill happens within this type of environment, which I really kind of liked. It felt a bit different, a little bit atypical of the horror movie tropes, and was something that was a little bit fresher. But it's the finale of the movie that I get caught up on, regardless of the tension and the suspense and the goodwill bought with all the characters and with the settings and with the way the movie's shot, which is really quite good. It's tight runtime. It's the final 20 minutes that just let this thing down. Things happen that I don't know how they happen. There's a sequence where a character gets stabbed within a hallway, and we have our protagonists there. One of them is actually holding the knife. They call for an ambulance and the police, and in the next minute they're going somewhere else and they still have the knife.
Hi, yes, we need an ambulance at Osborne High. Someone's been stabbed in the stomach.
Makani!
Pick up the phone, Zach. Thank you. Thank you so much. Caleb's okay.
We're to assume that the police and the ambulance have turned up and just let these kids go away immediately. Simple things like this ruin the continuity of the movie for me and take me out of what I'm actually watching. You know, why in that situation have they been allowed to leave there and go elsewhere? It doesn't make sense, and the ending of the movie is just a little bit too easily wrapped up. It's not overly surprising about who the killer is in this one. It becomes fairly apparent, I feel, early on, and it just left me cold at the end of it. Not something that I would want to go back to, and something that I was actually disappointed in, because I feel like for the first hour it really does something fairly decent, kept my attention, kept me interested, did not go above and beyond, but was still a solid, good slasher movie. But just the final few moments in final 20 minutes just really hammered home how ludicrous it went. Still, I think Patrick Brice is a director to watch. I think he's got a handle on horror. He does some wonderful setups here. Like I said, some of the kills are pretty good. Some of the suspense and terror is great. He's not shy on the bloodlust, although it does become a little bit CGI in certain moments. You know, people having their parts of their body cut and huge sprays of blood, which visually looks kind of nice, but realistically probably not as real as it should be. Still, I would say check it out if you're a slasher fan, if you like horror and you're in the Halloween season. It's an easy watch, a little bit frustrating near the end, like I said, but ultimately something that was engaging mostly, but falls directly down to the average path right at the end. I gave this a 2.5 out of 5, and even then I'm being a little bit generous, I think. I'd love to know your thoughts on this movie. Of course, there's other videos up here that you can check out if you want to see more of my content. Like, subscribe, share this video. It really helps me get more eyes on my content, which I kind of like. What can I say? There's also the Patreon program and the membership program if you want to see some exclusive content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.